Hello, a very fine good morning to all of you students. Right now in your EVS chapter 11 is going on and the name of the chapter is Sunita in Space. So in this chapter actually we'll learn about Sunita Williams and when she went to the space and spent there almost 6 months or more. So what are the experience she had gathered from there? So regarding that we will discuss over here. So this chapter is all about space. Okay, so already one video you have seen from this chapter, that was the first part discussion done. Now second part I will start today. And one more thing students, I will request you all to see the entire video. At the end of the video, whatever you will learn from there, few questions will be there and you have to answer from your side those questions. So you will try to answer those questions. I know you can easily answer if you will listen the video or you will see this entire video very carefully. So first of all, classroom becomes a spaceship. So close your eyes. Imagine that your class is a spaceship. So I will request you all to imagine your classroom as a spaceship. Zoom. In 10 minutes you have entered in space. Your spaceship is now going around the earth. Now say, are you able to sit at one place? So one question is there, if you will enter to the space from the earth surface, if you will enter to the space, that moment inside the spaceship, can you sit in a particular place? What about your hair? What will be there about your hair? Already you have learnt about that from Sunita Williams' story, that you cannot able to sit or you may not able to sit in a particular place because their gravity is zero in the space. As the gravity is zero students there, so no one can sit inside the spaceship properly how we are sitting over here on the surface of the earth, and your hair becomes straight due to zero gravity. Oh look, where are your bags and books going? All the things started to float inside the spaceship. And what is your teacher doing? Where is her chalk? Just your teacher is saying to imagine yourself, means imagine the entire thing, what is going on inside the classroom. Actually you are thinking that your classroom is the spaceship already mentioned earlier. And what is your teacher doing? Where is her chalk? So everything will start to float, that we know. How did you eat your food during the break? So tiffins are also, it will float because due to zero gravity. So then how you will eat your food? How you will take your tiffin? It is too much difficult. How did you drink water? What happened to the ball that you threw up? So if you will throw any ball, what will happen with it? Due to zero gravity, it will just only float. It will never come down. And due to the surface tension of the water, there is another property in higher classes, you will get to know about that. Due to the surface tension of water and due to the zero gravity, whenever the water it will come out from the bottle, it will make bubble like shape or ball like shape, and that way you have to take the water. How you are taking the water in the earth surface, that way you can never take the water in space. So it will take the shape like a bubble, or you can say a ball like shape when it will or water will come out from the bottle. act out or draw the scene. So you can draw this entire thing, what you are imagining right now. That way you can draw one scene or scenery. Isn't it amazing? So much amazing thing it is how we are thinking. On the earth, when we throw something, it comes down. Generally we know, due to the gravitational force or gravity on the surface of the earth, when you will throw something, again it will come back to the surface of the earth. When we throw a ball up in air, it falls back. We are able to catch it. On the earth, we don't keep floating around. That we know. We never float around the earth. When we fill a glass or bucket with water, it stays there. So when we will fill a glass or bucket of water, it will remain in the bucket or in the glass same way. No changes we can observe. It does not float around in blobs. Actually, I mentioned when you will get the water in the space in the form of bubble, that is actually known as blobs, you can say, as Sunita Williams says. It is something special about the earth that makes this happen. This earth pulls everything towards itself. That we know. Each and everything earth pulls towards itself. Sunita Williams went 360 kilometers away from the earth in the spaceship. Think how far this would be. 360 kilometers from the surface of the earth. She went there in the space. Just you have to imagine in the horizontal plane how far it will be. Find out which town or city is located about 360 kilometers away from where you live. So just I am giving the task to you students. From your home, what is the means from your home, which city or which place you will reach if you will go 360 kilometers from your home. So just you think according to your house. So if you will start to move 360 kilometers from your home in horizontal way, then in which place you will reach. Any direction, it may be south, east, north, in any direction, or west, any direction. This is how far Sunita Williams went away from the earth. But this is the distance actually from the earth's surface in the upward direction the Sunita Williams went from the earth. Can you now say why Sunita's hair kept standing? This is one question from this topic already mentioned. I have already mentioned in the previous part. So this is for you students, the question. Can you now say why Sunita's hair kept standing? Think why water flows downwards on any slope. On mountains too, water flows downwards, not upwards. Another thing I am saying to you students, just think and answer. Why water flows downwards on any slope? On mountains too, water flows downwards, not upwards. Why? This is another thing you have to think and answer from the previous part. Now in the next page, students, two magical things you're gonna try or you may try at your home. Magic 1. A tiny paper races a coin. Take a 5 rupee coin and a small piece of paper. The paper should be about 1/4 the size of the coin. I repeat again. Take a 5 rupee coin and a small piece of paper. The paper should be about 1/4 the size of the coin. Next, hold the coin in one hand and the paper in the other. Drop them at the same time. What happened? Now place the tiny paper on the coin and drop them. What happened this time? Surprised. So you will try this thing at your home Then tell me the result, what you have seen from both the case. Now magic number 2. A mouse lifts an elephant. To play this, you will need a small stone, a bigger stone, lemon-sized, a thick roll of paper which can be made with layers of papers. Mouse and an elephant made of paper. So again I repeat, to play this you will need a small stone, a bigger stone, lemon-sized, a thick roll of paper which can be made with layers of papers. Mouse and an elephant made of paper. Take a string about 2 feet long. At one end of the string, tie the small stone. Stick or tie the mouse to the stone. Put the string into the roll of paper, and the other end of the string tie the bigger stone and stick the elephant. Hold the roll of paper and move your hand to rotate the small stone. Who is pulling whom? You will be surprised. The mouse lifts the elephant. How did this magic happen? So you try at your home this magic also. 2 magics I mentioned today. So then what the results you are getting, just share with me later on. Very nice 2 magical experiments, and I'm just giving one clue to all of you. This is all about gravity or gravitational pull of earth. It will happen, or what you will observe, that will be depending on this theory only. Where are the lines really? Sunita describes her view of the earth from the spaceship. The earth looks so beautiful and amazing. We could watch it for hours. So actually Sunita Williams, whatever she had observed the earth from the space, about that, or from the spaceship, whatever she observed, she told us everything. The earth looks so beautiful and amazing. We could watch it for hours from the window of the spaceship. We could clearly see the curved shape of the earth very nicely. Look at this picture or photograph of the earth, students. Taken from a spaceship. This picture has been taken from the spaceship. From such photographs today we know that the earth looks like, but thousands of years ago people could only imagine what the earth looked like. Means 1000 years back, if you will go, people could not only imagine what the earth looked like, means how actually the earth looked like. About that people had no idea. Scientists tried hard to find out how big is the earth. So all the time scientists are researching on it. How big is the earth? How does it go around? Look at this photograph and tell. So here the photograph is. So you have to observe very nicely and you have to tell. Can you see India? Can you recognize any other place? Where is the sea? Do you find anything similar between the globe and this picture of the earth? In what ways are they different? Do you think Sunita could make out Pakistan, Nepal and Burma separately when she saw the earth from space? So what is your observation? What is your opinion? Just also share with me later on. Next, the topic is in which the children were discussing, like Uzaira and Shamir are looking at different countries on the globe. Uzaira, see, there are lines between the different countries on this globe. Are such lines also there on the earth? So in the globe, the boundary lines between the states in a country or between the countries in between the countries there are a lot of lines, boundary lines are there on the globe that we can see. Generally, if you will purchase any globe from the market, then you can also see lot of lines or boundary lines are there. But are such lines also there on the earth? That was the question from Uzaira to Shamir. Now Shamir is replying, there must be. They are there on the map of India in this book. See, there are lines between the different states too. So Shamir is replying in such a way, there must be, obviously, they are there on the map of India also. See, inside the India there are also boundary lines. There are lines between the different states too. In between the states also boundary lines are there. Now Uzaira, if we go from Delhi to Rajasthan, would we find such lines made on the ground? So if we will go from Delhi to Rajasthan, would we find such lines made on the ground? Another question asked by Uzaira. So look at the map of your country and tell, can you find the state in which you live? Write its name on the map. Which are the states next to the state you live in? Another question. Have you been to any other state? Shamir thinks that there are lines drawn on the ground between the states. What do you think? When Sunita saw the earth from the space, she found the earth is very beautiful. Many thoughts come to her mind as she describes it. From so far away, one can only make out the land and sea. So she was watching from so far, from the space, from so long distance she was watching the earth. She cannot recognize the boundary lines in such a way you can see on the globe. She can only watch, or she can only see the land and sea from so far. One cannot see the different countries. Division into the countries has been done by us. No divisions she can see, or she can't see from there. So from so long distance she can only observe, already mentioned, land and sea from that so far distance. All the lines on the maps are made by us. They are in our minds. So these boundary lines is made by us, we people, in the map that we can observe, and we can also recognize, or we can also realize what is the actual boundary line of that particular country or individual countries. But whenever someone will watch the earth from the space, or from another planet, or from the surface of the moon, they can never see such type of boundary lines in between the countries. That you have to keep in your mind. There are in our minds. I wish we all think about this. Where are the lines really? Now look at the sky. Shamir, he closes one eye and moves the coin back and forth while looking at the moon. Look, I can hide the moon behind this coin. You can also try these things, students. You can take one 10 rupee coin and you can close one eye and you can keep the coin in front of the open eye. By this way you can hide the moon also. While you will look at the moon, you can try this way. Uzaira. Now Uzaira is saying, wow, imagine hiding such a big moon behind such a small coin. How much ridiculous matter was going on in between these two children. Just Uzaira is saying, moon is so big that we know, and you can hide the moon just behind a small coin. Uzaira is saying to Shamir, a ridiculous thing was going on. Why don't you try to do the same with a coin? How many centimeters away from the eye did you keep the coin to hide the moon? So now Uzaira is saying, why don't you try to do the same with a coin? how many centimeters away from the eye did you keep the coin to hide the moon? It is another question to you students. How many centimeters if you will keep the coin from your eye, that way you can hide the moon, that you cannot see the moon properly. So what will be the minimum distance to keep the coin from your opened eye? Next one, do you think the moon is flat like the coin or round like a ball? What do you think? What is your observation? Do you think the moon is like flat like coin or round like a ball? What is your opinion? Next, have you ever looked carefully at the sky at night? Don't the twinkling stars look magical? So if you will look the sky at night, you will see the twinkling stars also. So that is also another phenomena is going on there. That's why twinkling of star is there. That is called atmospheric refraction. Another higher class concept, atmospheric refraction. Due to that, you can see that stars are twinkling at night. And sometimes the moon is silvery and bright. Sometimes you will see the moon is looking like very silvery and bright also, while sometimes it is nowhere to be seen in the black sky. Sometimes you cannot see the moon at the night sky. So another process is going on, that is new moon and a full moon. There is one cyclic process, total cyclic process is there. So that is also you will get to know about the rotation, the revolution of moon around the earth actually. So revolution of moon around the earth due to this new moon day and full moon day is happening. About this also you will get to know in your next class or higher classes. So this is up to these students today. Whatever the questions been asked earlier, you try to answer by yourself. Then if you will face any problem, then ask me later on, but I have given the clues in this context. So please try to solve these answers without taking the help from your teachers. Let's see. Okay students, so today up to this, and one more video in the space you can see. So watch and enjoy. Thank you students.
So this is Node 2. This is a really cool module. Of course, most of these modules you'll see they have 4 sides and they're put together. That way we could sort of work on a flat plane, either a wall, a floor, another wall, or the ceiling. But you know, again, all you have to do is turn yourself and your reference changes. The reason I'm bringing that up is because this is where 4 out of 6 of us sleep. And so people always ask about sleeping in space. Do you lie down? Are you in a bed? Not really, because it doesn't matter. You don't really have the sensation of lying down. You just sit in your sleeping bag. So here's one sleep station right here. I'm going in right now. You can follow me if you want. So I'm inside. It's sort of like a little phone booth. But it's pretty comfy. I've got a sleeping bag right here that we sleep in, so we don't have sort of like a little bit of a cover. We don't fly all over the place. But you know, you can sleep in any orientation. I have it feeling like I'm standing up right now, but like you saw, I'm on the floor. But it doesn't matter if I turn over and I sleep upside down. I don't have any sensation in my head that tells me that I'm upside down, so it really doesn't matter. The sleep station is also like a little office. We've got a computer in here. As you can see, we've got a couple little toys. I've got some books. I've got some clothes and other things that make it sort of like home. I'm coming out. And just for reference, that's one sleep station. This one's another. Right here. There's one on the ceiling, if you want to call it. Right here, and then there's a fourth on the other wall over here. So all of us sleep in a little bit of a circle. All right, come on back. There's more to show you. I know that there's some questions about how to use the bathroom and how do you actually live in space like normal, like at home. I mentioned real quickly about getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth and washing your face. Well, how do you do that? Well, here is the bathroom, essentially. You get up in the morning and we have a little kit, and it has all the essential things that you need, like your toothbrush and toothpaste and brush. See how much better the brush makes my hair look? I'm just joking. It still stands up straight. It doesn't matter where you are. It's always going to stand up straight while you're up in space. A lot of people ask about toothbrush and toothpaste. So, luckily enough, toothpaste, you can do it upside right this way, is sticky, and so it sticks to your toothbrush. No problem. Another cool thing is that water sticks to your toothbrush too. If you can see it, I'll have some water come out. The water is pretty neat up in space. It'll stick to your toothbrush and it will make a big bubble. And that's just my surface tension. And then you can drink it. So a lot of people ask about what do you do with the toothpaste after you brush your teeth. Two options. Swallow it, and it's sort of like mouthwash, but it tastes a little gross. Or you can just spit it out in a paper towel, and then you don't have to worry about it. Swallowing thing I wouldn't recommend at home. I'm only up here for 4 months, so it's not that bad. One of the most pressing questions about living in space, of course, is the bathroom. So let's take a look at that little piece of work. Come on in. Here we are at the throne. This is awesome. You might see the little, you might have noticed the little moon on the outside. This is our orbital outhouse right here. And of course, it serves for two functions. Number 2, right here. I'll show you. But you see it's pretty small, so you have to have pretty good aim, and you be ready to make sure things get let go the right direction. And it smells a little bit, so I'm closing it up. And that's of course for number 2. And this guy right here is for number 1. So they're sort of two slightly separate functions, but you can do a little, essentially both, by hanging on right here and doing number 1 and number 2. I might add it's color coded, so you really don't get it mixed up, which is nice. This is yellows for number 1. And also there's a selection of paper. People always ask about toilet paper. What do you do with toilet paper? What kind of toilet paper do you have? We have gloves, just because sometimes it does get messy. We have some Russian wipes, which are a little bit coarse if you like the coarse type of toilet paper. We have some nice tissues, which are nice and soft if you like soft toilet paper. We have Huggies, just for any cleanup. You know, we were all babies once, and this sort of helps. And then if things get really out of control, we have disinfectant wipes, just to make sure we clean up here. Because, you know, just like the water I showed you, the number 1 stuff can sort of go all over the place if you don't aim correctly. And did I mention both of these have a little bit of suction, so they should keep things going in the right direction. But like I said, sometimes things get a little out of control if you are out of control yourself flying around. So we have lots of protective stuff. And of course, you do have your privacy. There's a little door. so other people know that you're in there. Here's a pretty cool place. This is sort of like in your house where everybody meets in the morning. After you wash your face, brush your teeth, you want to find something for breakfast. And this is our kitchen. You might notice there's all sorts of foods here. It's like opening the refrigerator. You got all your different stuff that you want to have: drinks, meats, eggs, vegetables, cereals, bread, snacks. And that's a good place. That's where you find all the candy. Side dishes, and then some little power bars just in case. So we have all this type of food. Some of it is dehydrated, and so we have to hydrate it, fill it up with water. Some of it is already made, and then all we have to do is heat it up. So something like this, I'm pulling out barbecued beef brisket. Pretty yummy. Not only is this food made in the US, but we also have food here from Japan. We've got Russian food. As you can see, all these red containers are filled with food that's from Russia. And then we get some of our specialty stuff, some things that we like, some of our favorite stuff that your family can send up. In fact, I like fluffernutters, and so I got sent up some fluff so I could make my fluffernutter with peanut butter. So you have a lot of food up here, no problems. Now, I want to say where we are. So right now, we're in the Japanese laboratory. It's one laboratory out of many here on the International Space Station. It's actually on the left-hand side. If I was the International Space Station and I was flying through space like this, my left hand would be where the Japanese laboratory is. So now again, we're on the right-hand side, all the way on the right of the International Space Station. This is Columbus, the European module. It has science experiments all over. You could see it looks a little bit crowded. And here we do a lot of our medical experiments. Here we are in the US laboratory. Again, this is a laboratory with science experiments on all of the walls here, all sorts of stuff that we do. And one of the things we also do is we exercise. We have some exercise equipment on board the space station. We need to do that because we lose bone density and muscle mass while we're up here, and that's a result of not having to fight against gravity. So how we keep ourselves in shape are with a bike, a treadmill, and a weightlifting machine. This is the bike. You notice the clip pedals, so all you need to do is actually clip your feet in, and then you can start pedaling. You don't need a seat because you don't sit down. Actually, I haven't sat down for 6 months now, so you don't need any type of seat. Just make sure you're held in with your pedals. You probably see that the bike bounces around a little bit. As I move it, it's not steady and held to the wall firmly. And the reason for that is the space station is pretty big. You saw that there's also solar arrays on the space station. If we start putting any forces into the space station, it's going to make those solar arrays bounce around a little bit. So to prevent that, the machines bounce around a little bit, move around a little bit, and that way we don't put any forces onto the structure of the spacecraft out to the solar arrays. All right, a little farther on. Come on. I'm here with my two buddies in the airlock. Actually, these are two spacesuits that are ready, primed up to go outside, as we call it, to go do a spacewalk in case we have to do anything outside. Some of the things we do outside are just like inside, repairs. We have a lot of electrical boxes and machinery and solar arrays, in fact, that I talked about earlier, that are outside, and sometimes they don't work quite right. Remember, space is really cold and really hot, and it's also the vacuum of space with no pressure, and so some of the equipment doesn't work well all the time. So we might have to